yes, it is earnings. And that's the one that is going to take the limelight, given the fact that you have earnings coming thick and fast. We have Thyrocare, which has come out with very good set of numbers. The margins, see the margins on a year-on-year basis, 31% margins versus 22% on a year-on-year basis. And the stock also, or other investors also, are celebrating a great set of numbers coming in for Thyrocare. We have Rahul Guha, who's the MD and CEO of Thyrocare, and as well as who's the President of Operations at API Holdings, joining us. Thank you so much, Rahul, for joining us this morning, and apologies for keeping you waited. Given the fact it is earnings, we had HUL a short while ago. But I want to talk about your margins, because a stellar set of numbers coming in on that particular front. It's a 3-year high. If you could help us understand what aided this margin expansion in the quarter gone by, and the most important question that everyone wants your answer on is, are these levels sustainable?
Thanks. See, growth solves everything, right? Our growth has come in at about 23%. What that means, and of that 14% is volume growth. And when your volumes, just so for context, Thyrocare processes about 168 million tests a year. That is, if you go through the reported numbers, it's almost the equivalent of all our competition. And to grow at 14% on that base, is almost roughly about 25 million tests, which would be the size of a large lab today in India, or a large competitor in India. So, and that's been our growth delivery in volume terms this year. That gives you a lot of benefits on the margin, because as your volumes increase, you get a lot of credit notes and volume incentives from the suppliers. So you would have seen about a 4% gross margin improvement because of that. And then the second part of it is there is some operating leverage that kicks in because our manpower cost is largely fixed. And as you grow at this pace, your costs don't grow at that pace. So we've got about 2% operating leverage. And last year, we had provided quite a bit on the bad debt side, with now our receivables under control and, not having too much government business in our mix today. We haven't had to actually provide too much on the doubtful debt side. So the bridge of 9% is 4% from gross margin, 2% from operating leverage, and about 4% from lower provisioning, because the mix of our government business is much lower.
Hi Rahul, good morning. This is Shrishti also joining in. Good to be speaking with you, but help us understand that how has the test mix evolved for you, routine versus the specialized, and what sort of a mix are you working with, or rather are you targeting going ahead?
We're largely a routine and semi-specialized player. We will, of course, we were heavily dependent on thyroid, I would say about 5 years ago. That has definitely come down. We're much more moving towards the semi-specialized space, many new technologies we have invested in. But I would say for the moment, you can assume that our strategy is largely still focused on routine and semi-specialized, which is the large volume in India as well. And we are doing very well in that space. So we feel there's enough and more room to expand in the routine and semi-specialized space. We will make selective investments in the specialty space, but given where the volumes are and our focus on volumes, we'll kind of stay focused on routine and semi-specialized.
Rahul, let me put the spotlight then on one of the most important questions, is given the fact that the pricing war come last year, everyone was talking about the pricing war that will take place in the diagnostic space. I wanted to understand, have you all undertaken any price hikes? And if you all have, then by how much?
No, our mission is to be the most affordable diagnostic provider in the country. That's our mission statement. We always try to be as affordable as possible. If you look at our price of thyroid, it hasn't changed in 10 years. So, most of our volume, most of our growth is volume led. And what you see as price is actually less price, more mix that comes through. We very rarely take price hikes beyond a couple of % in the year. And that is to keep our franchise base stable and in line with our mission to be affordable.
Right. So I believe, like you said, yes, you want to be affordable, but you know you have the competitors also then going ahead for a price hike. How does that then change your strategy? Does that get you worked up on that particular front by any chance?
No, that means more volume for us. And, as they keep increasing price, the gap between the players increases and, the volume shift towards us. And we are in a virtuous cycle. More volumes means better rates means lower prices means more volumes. And that virtuous cycle is working very well for us.
All right, Rahul, the other question that we wanted to put forward is with respect to the rumors around the Farm Easy merger. Any comments on that? Because we have been trying to get you towards the corner to get some comments, but just wanted to know, is the company open to do any such mergers?
We see this is largely market speculation. This has never been brought up in the Thyrocare board. This rumor came about I think about 5 months ago. By now, we would have seen some movement on this direction. I would just put it to market speculation. At this point, we have not evaluated anything of the sort, and at an appropriate time, if it comes up and it makes sense for Thyrocare shareholders, you have to remember this will be a special resolution, so it will require an affirmation of the majority of the minority. So it has to make sense for Thyrocare shareholders for anything like this to be contemplated and go forward.
For now, you're putting the rumors to rest that there is nothing on the cards and you all have not spoken about this, right?
Yeah, at Thyrocare, we have not spoken about this.
All right. On that note, we leave it there. Thank you so much, Rahul, for being patient and also waiting patiently, actually, while we speak to you on your numbers. All the best for the future, especially for the new financial year, and to the entire team at Thyrocare. Thank you so much for being part of the show. But on that note, we slip into